Most people assume that the reason why I decided to move abroad is for affordability or for adventure or for me trying to escape some kind of reality. And the truth is that I wasn't trying to escape reality. I was trying to remember who I was before fear, expectation, and scarcity became a part of my reality. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Marquita. I am a spiritual coach. I am an author, and I'm also the host of the Alchemy Soul podcast. So if you're new here, please be sure to check the description for all of my offerings. I am currently on a 365-day long form content challenge. So if you're interested in what I have to say here today, please be sure to subscribe so that you can keep up with me every single day. And 6 weeks ago, I decided to pack up all of my things and move abroad for the second time. This time around, I made a very conscious decision, right? Not to say the last time wasn't a conscious decision. However, the last time did have a bit of escapism weaved into the decision making, right? Because at that time, I was a newly single mother. And at that time, I was learning what it looks like to not only be a mother, but also to still just be a woman, right? I was learning how to separate the two and how to still make sure that I was honoring myself as a woman and as a person, and that I didn't allow motherhood to engulf my entire life, right? And so what I did in 2023 was I left. I did take my daughter, me and her, we went to Thailand. And during that time, I even was very much so aware that the expectations and the things that are placed on mothers and the expectations and the things that are placed on black women, even if you're not a mother, I was aware that the standard was high, right? I am a high achieving black woman, right? Like I went straight through. I got my master's degree, I wouldn't say I went straight through and got my license. It did take me a few years to obtain that. However, it's like I went straight through all my school, the first in my family to graduate with the bachelor's, the first in my family to graduate with the master's. Like I am the first in my family to do a lot of the things that I am doing, right? So the pressure and the expectations to excel and to be um, the golden child, right? The example and the pillar, the pressure has always been on me, right? And although no one has directly said that to me as an adult, I'm pretty sure it's definitely something that was ingrained in me as a child. I do still feel that there is an expectation, right? And what I was trying to do in 2023 and what I decided to do for myself in 2026, 6 weeks ago, was to release all of the expectations that everybody that I decided to release all of the expectations that I thought that other people were expecting of me. Hear me when I say that, right? Because there's nobody coming to me directly saying, Marquita, I expect you to continue in this career field. I'm expecting you to, buy a house. And I'm expecting you to move me into the house. I'm expecting you to take care of me. There's nobody saying they expect me to make these perfect next steps, right? It is coming from an assumption, right, of what I have witnessed all of the other mothers do in my family since I have been a child. In addition to my daughter's father, his family as well. witnessing them and how their family, how their family is, right? That also had an impact on the expectations that I thought that other people were expecting of me. Nobody ever told me this. These are the general society expectations, right? And so, what I had to do for myself was I had to detach. I had to remember who I was, like I said in the beginning when I was doing it in 2023, separating the woman from the mother. And I had to make a very intentional decision to go down this path, right? So far, I have been to Thailand. That was when I first went in 2023. I went to Medellin, Colombia in 2023. And then I came back to the United States, lived nomadically throughout the U.S. And then I decided 6 weeks ago to go again. And it's so interesting. I'm learning so much about myself, and it has been a very short period of time. Like 6 weeks is nothing, right? But if you're new here, I have had a very rocky start, right? I first went to Medellin, Colombia again, right? Because when I went the last time, I loved it. I thought that it was going to be a place that I could, have a soft landing and have like some familiarity since I had been there before. So I decided to go again. And this second time around solidified to me that, baby, no, that place is not for me and I will probably never go there again. Okay. I got some lessons the first time, but the second time around, the lessons definitely solidified everything for me. Medellin, Colombia will never see my face again. So, but even in the adversity, right? Those 5 weeks, because I was really there only about 5.5 weeks or so. Those 5.5 weeks that I was there in Colombia, I learned so much about myself, right? So I've learned some of my fears. I've learned like some of my expectations I have of myself still. I'm learning, and I have learned like more about the expectations that I have of myself, but also like, what is the word? My fears, my expectations, and I can't think of the word. I don't know. I can't think of the word. However, I'm just, recognizing some of the fears and the expectations that I have of myself, right? Oh, that's what it is. The fears, the expectations, and the limiting beliefs that I have going into this whole experience. It's so funny because before I came, I made sure that I had like a good mental foundation at play so that if anything ever happened or occurred, that I would be solid, right? And I think that I handled everything very well and I was solid, but stuff didn't have to keep happening for me to be like, oh yeah, no, this is not in alignment for me, right? But what I would say is that the way that I handle things, I can recognize that I had done the work that I needed to do from 2023 to 2026 in order to do this journey again, right? I don't know how long I will be abroad. It's my intention to never move back to the United States. I don't know how long I will be slow traveling, right? But what I am doing is I'm taking my time and learning who Marquita is in each place, right? I am learning myself, but I'm also stripping myself bare of the conditioning of American mindset. And that's going to take some time because, baby, I'm 34 years old. And for the majority of my life, I've lived in America, right? Like a good majority, almost all my life, I've lived in America. So that part is going to take some time, right? I give myself grace, I give myself time, I give myself awareness and consciousness that this, excuse me, this part of my psyche and my brain and how I expect the world to work is American mindset, right? And I give myself grace, I'm not pushing myself so much to be someone different, right? I'm not pushing myself so much to just automatically understand the other culture, right? I'm not pushing myself so much to decide one culture is right and one is the other. I'm just observing, I'm witnessing, I'm being aware, I am learning, what my fears are, right? And some of the fears, they come up, right? Right now, I'm in Ecuador. I've been in Ecuador since Saturday, so I've been in Ecuador 3 days at this point, and I haven't gone outside yet. And this happens, right? Like I get to a place and I won't go outside until I have a reason to go outside, right? I'm supposed to be meeting up with somebody on Thursday, in 2 days for coffee. And so that'll be my reason to go outside. And hopefully that will be my intro to Cuenca, Ecuador. Because at this point, it's like, I like to think I'm adventurous, in which I am. I'm adventurous. However, I'm not as comfortable yet with being a foreigner, right? Like, I'm just not as comfortable yet. And that's okay, right? Like, I give myself time, I give myself grace. There's a reason why I don't, I always make sure that I book myself a couple of weeks so that I can just be in a place and I can have that safety net, right? Some of the expectations that I have, like some, my expectations of myself, they're vast, right? But even as it relates to like this YouTube channel, I'm putting so much pressure on myself about, am I learning enough to take myself to the next level? Am I learning enough to make sure that I'm continuously growing and evolving? Baby, I'm a Virgo, okay? Like, I want to execute. I want to execute meticulously, and I want to execute strategically and well, right? But what I'm recognizing and being aware of as I'm doing this journey is making sure that I'm not holding myself back by trying to be perfect. And the same difference with this whole travel experience, I'm making sure that I'm just learning, just letting it be a learning experience, right? For no other reason besides I like to learn, right? Um, this travel experience, right? I was like, oh my goodness, and this ties into the limitations as well. When I originally planned to leave the U.S. this time around, I was supposed to go to Puerto Vallarta. I did not go to Puerto Vallarta because of the weather and because of the cost of living. So what I decided to do was, I was like, let me skedaddle over here to Medellin, Colombia, because it looks a little bit more affordable and I'm familiar with the surroundings, right? It's comfortable. I paid for it. I paid for that decision in peace and stress. Like, I mean, I paid for it in peace, right? Like, that experience was everything but peaceful. Right. I met some amazing people, which I'm always and forever grateful for, right? Like, I'm grateful for the people that I have met. However, I went through a lot when I was there, right? A lot of things that also will kind of live in me until I learn how to trust myself again. And it even goes as far as like being hyper vigilant, right? Making sure that I have my purse close to me and that I don't put my phone in my pocket and just different things like that. Because I did get pickpocketed, you know. And the last time I was there in 2023, they did rob my Airbnb while I was there. And, you know, you do hear these stories and all of these experiences, and people just be like, well, that's just the culture. The culture is for people to steal from you. They do it to each other. Like, it's not okay. So I have to learn to trust my decision making again, right? Because the decision came from a limiting belief that I wasn't going to have enough, that, you know, even with the Airbnb that I decided to book, like, I was like, I'm saving a couple $100. I paid for it. I paid for it in Ubers, but I also paid for it in Pete's. You know what I'm saying? Like, it cost me a lot more money to travel back and forth to where I actually wanted to be. So it added up, right? And so I'm being more aware of my limiting beliefs, even as it pertains to me being in Cuenca, Ecuador. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Right? I'm going to visit. I'm going to explore. I'm going to see what it's like. However, it is cold. It is cold. And I don't have clothes. I don't have cold clothes. Like, I don't. And so I came here because of the affordability. I came here because some of the homes, not all, but some of the homes look modern. I came here because they use the US dollar. I came here because it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I kind of came here for the weather. I don't really like being super hot, but I don't want to be cold. I think that I would rather be hot than be cold. And so it's another thing. Well, I'm just being aware of like, this is costing you, right? And what I'm learning and why I'm taking like just a moment to reflect is because it's okay, right? I made these decisions and I made these choices. I'm getting my lessons, and that's all there is. Like, that's all the intention has been, right? I'm becoming, right? And each place I think is going to help me become a little bit more, right? I am not the same woman that I was when I left just 6 weeks ago, right? I'm not her anymore. However, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like I have these expectations of myself because I have so much knowledge and wisdom of self. When I went on this journey, you know, you can look back at some of my videos. Before I went on this journey, I said, baby, I'm gonna let spirit lead. I'm gonna let spirit lead. Right? As much as I possibly can, I'm going to sit my ego to the side. And I didn't realize until I got into this how difficult sometimes that is. A lot of times, actually. Because the ego wants familiarity, it wants safety, it wants comfort, it wants affordability, it wants all of these things, right? However, Puerto Vallarta was supposed to be my landing space. I've never been there before either. A lot of the places that I will be going, I've never been there before. But I'm just learning to let spirit lead. And if anything, at the end of the day, after all of this is done, that should be the biggest lesson. to let spirit lead. And so that's all I got for y'all today. If you resonated with anything that I said today, please be sure to leave it in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, I am currently on a 365-day long form content challenge. So if you enjoyed the message today, please be sure to subscribe so that you can be notified, or, well, you turn on notification bell so you can be notified when I post again tomorrow. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.